A final assignment has been given to Archangel Michael, and it involves your destiny. If you see this, it means it's already in motion. The appointed hour has struck. A divine moment has arrived. Heaven's clock has struck an hour that cannot be reversed. There are no delays in the spirit, no random winds or misplaced signs. When this message found you, heaven had already moved. A scroll was opened. A name was called. An assignment was issued, and that name was yours. The name Michael has not appeared by chance. In the unseen realm, it echoes not as a name, but as a divine command. It signals a mission authorized by the Most High, a final movement in the heavens that directly involves you. Not your neighbor, not your family, you. There is a stirring happening around you. You sensed it. The unease in your sleep, the shift in your conversations, the heaviness in your chest that you could not quite explain. That was the Spirit warning you, not of danger, but of motion. Heaven has moved, and when heaven moves, everything beneath it begins to shift. There is no standing still once the trumpet sounds. This message is not for everyone. This message is not for the masses. It is selective. It is spiritual confirmation for the awakened, for those whose eyes have been searching, whose hearts have been whispering, God, is this the moment? Yes, this is the moment. God has authorized Archangel Michael with a final assignment. This is not about vengeance. This is not about destruction. This is about divine reordering, the tearing apart of false alignments, the reconfiguration of your spiritual landscape. This is not a fight against you. This is a war for you, for your name, for your next, for your divine purpose. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. And now you've entered a sacred window, a season where silence is strategy and stillness is warfare. Do not speak where heaven has called you to be silent. Do not move where heaven has called you to be still. For in the stillness, the angelic hosts are active. While you are quiet, the heavens are speaking louder than thunder. This is your signal. This is your scroll. This is your moment. Type I am chosen in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. By the next sunrise, the message will find the one it was meant for. By the next sunrise, a ripple will be felt in the unseen. A movement will press into the natural realm from the throne of God. It will not knock. It will not wait. It will not apologize. This message is not a suggestion. It is a spiritual decree, and it has been dispatched with precision. If you are reading this now, then the scroll has already been unsealed, and the light has already been loosed. Archangel Michael stands, not with a sword of steel, but with a sword of light. Heaven's flame flickers at the edge of his blade. He does not wait for your approval. He waits only for God's command, and the command has been given. The Spirit of the Lord speaks with thunder in its breath. The scroll has been opened. The order has been given. There are no coincidences in the kingdom of God. Only orchestrated moments. Only divine timings. Only holy alignments. Heaven has moved, and the earth must now respond. You are not just watching this. You are a part of it. You are not just receiving this. You are being summoned into it. A veil has been lifted for a brief and sacred moment between heaven and earth. For most, life will go on unchanged. But for the remnant, for the awakened, for the marked and the mantled, this message carries weight. It carries recognition. It carries responsibility. It carries your name in its echo. Yes, your name. You who felt unseen for months. You who sat in the waiting room of silence and asked if heaven still remembered your file. You who wrestled with delay and whispered in the dark, "Did you forget me?" Hear this now. Heaven never forgot you. Heaven was preparing the decree. You were not overlooked. You were being preserved for the correct unveiling. There is a motion in the spirit, a sequence of divine activation that was initiated before you even knew it existed. What was once stagnant is now trembling under acceleration. The enemy thought your silence was surrender, but it was consecration. He thought your stillness meant you were done, but it meant you were about to begin. Michael's assignment is not vague. It is not general. It is not symbolic. It is targeted. It is detailed. It carries your address in the spirit. It carries your warfare. It carries your intercession. It carries your breakthrough. He has not come to you empty-handed. He has come on divine orders, bearing divine results. Only those whose spirit frequency aligns with this heavenly movement can hear this, not with natural ears, but with spiritual discernment. If you are weeping as you read, if your spirit is stirring, if your breath has caught in your chest, that is not emotion, that is confirmation. The spirit whispers, "Be alert, destiny is unfolding while the world sleeps." Michael has been released. His sword is drawn. And now, you must draw your stillness like a shield. You must draw your obedience like a banner. Because the heavens are not only watching, they are warring. And the war is for your divine outcome. The sun may rise tomorrow like any other day, but for you, it will rise as a witness to the moment heaven invaded your reality, a witness to the shift that you did not see coming, a witness to the angel standing in your atmosphere with your victory written in light. This is not a warning to fear. This is an announcement to prepare. The final assignment is in motion. You are no longer waiting for a word. You are living inside one. Type "I receive heaven's decree" in the comments if this finds your spirit. Blessing code 777 is now activated over your atmosphere. Heaven saw what you couldn't. There has been a shaking in your spirit that no one else could feel, a disruption that followed you like a shadow in the daylight, subtle but constant. You've noticed it. The way conversations change when you walk into a room. The uneasy silence. The glances that hold too much meaning. There is a mystery swirling around your name. And now, heaven has decided to respond. Some smiled in your face while secretly measuring your downfall. Others pretended loyalty while quietly aligning with your opposition. Yet, even in the silence of your confusion, the courts of heaven were not silent. Every whisper spoken in hidden places, every word spoken in pretense, they were all recorded. Not a single sentence escaped the ears of God. And now, the silence is being shattered by revelation. You were not being paranoid. You were discerning. That strange emotional fatigue you felt, the heaviness that sat on your chest when no one else noticed, that sudden shift in your inner circle, the exits you didn't understand, the resistance that seemed to rise from nowhere. All of it was warfare in disguise, not punishment, not random attacks. It was a spiritual interference meant to distract you, to distort your focus, and derail your calling. But it failed, because your spirit refused to sleep while your destiny was under surveillance. Heaven hath been watching, not just your enemies, but your endurance. The emotional imbalance was never weakness. It was an alarm in your soul that something unnatural had been introduced into your atmosphere. And now, the alarm has reached the heavens. Now, the alarm has summoned Archangel Michael. Michael's assignment at this stage is one of divine exposure. He has come to unmask what has been operating in the shadows, to dismantle alliances that have masqueraded as support but carried sabotage in their hearts. You were never crazy. You were being spiritually informed. You didn't imagine the resistance. You didn't fabricate the discomfort. Your spirit knew. Your dreams streamed. Your intuition wouldn't stop shaking. Every delay you faced, every rejection you swallowed, every door that slammed shut in your face, it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of divine clarity. You had to be denied what wasn't designed for your elevation. You had to be rejected by what would have poisoned your future. You had to walk through the fog of confusion to arrive at this divine unveiling. And now it begins, the separation, the revealing, the uprooting of hidden sabotage. Heaven has not only authorized it, heaven has scheduled it. You are in the countdown now. Michael is executing his final sweep before your new season unfolds. No deception will cross the threshold with you. No hidden enemy will follow you into your elevation. You are stepping into the clearest season of your life, spiritually, emotionally, and relationally. Your heart has not only been observed, it has been protected. Watched not by men, but by God. The tears you cried when you couldn't explain what was wrong, they were evidence, and that evidence has been brought before the throne. The people around you may not change, but your insight will. You will begin to see with piercing discernment. You will know who is for you and who is sent to distract you. You will no longer confuse kindness with covenant. You will no longer tolerate atmospheres that make your spirit shrink. This is the hour of divine exposure. The disruption wasn't random. It was prophetic. And the peace that follows it will be proof that the mission has been completed. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. If this message has pierced your spirit, it means heaven is calling you deeper, not just to receive, but to help others receive too. When you give into this ministry, you're not just supporting a video, you are sowing into the global release of God's Word. The enemy wants to silence prophetic voices, but every gift you give becomes oil that keeps this lamp burning. This is your moment to sow into breakthrough, for you, and for others who are desperate for truth. The Word says those who refresh others will themselves be refreshed. This is your refreshing moment. I feel led to invite you. Become a part of this divine assignment. Activate your seed through Super Thanks, YouTube membership, or through PayPal using the link in the description below. Let your giving speak louder than the warfare. Heaven sees what you sow. Heaven rewards what you release. Step into the river. Give prophetically. Watch the floodgates open. Heaven is not punishing you. It is positioning you. What if I told you the rejection was never meant to harm you, but to realign you? What if I told you the silence you endured wasn't abandonment, but refinement? And what if I told you that every conflict was not chaos, but divine calibration? Listen carefully, because the Spirit is speaking with clarity in this hour. The warfare you faced was not random. The people who left weren't just people walking away. The betrayals weren't merely human failure. Every detail, yes, every painful, confusing, and inconvenient detail was divinely filtered before it ever reached your life. And the filter was purpose. The conflict was not the enemy's plan succeeding. It was heaven's hand interrupting what could not walk with you into your destiny. The delays you cried over. The closed doors you didn't understand. The silence that felt like rejection from God Himself. Those were trials. They were not tests of punishment. They were tests of positioning. The spirit realm had been observing, not how strong your hands are, but how surrendered your heart is. Could you still bless when you felt broken? Could you still obey when the path was unclear? Could you still trust when you felt unseen? Heaven doesn't promote ambition. Heaven promotes the obedient. That's why Archangel Michael has not only been sent to battle for you, but to mark the conclusion of a divine test. Yes, you were tested, not just by life, but by the very atmosphere around you. Your reactions have been under holy surveillance. Would you fight in your flesh? Or would you wait in your spirit? Would you try to fix it yourself? Or would you allow the kingdom to rearrange what your hands could never hold properly? This is why some relationships dissolved without warning. This is why certain doors shut even after you prayed. Heaven was cleansing your path, not to remove blessings, but to protect the ones that were truly yours. You don't need what left. You need what's coming. And what's coming requires space, purity, and alignment. The separation hurt, but it was holy. The silence stung, but it sanctified. And the confusion, it forced you to lean not on your own understanding, but into the very heartbeat of heaven. Archangel Michael's sword did not only strike the enemy, it also struck the cords of your soul that were still tied to what couldn't stay. He has moved not just to protect you, but to pull you into divine alignment. The friction you felt was heaven's strategy. The storm you walked through was God's covering in disguise. You see, when heaven promotes, it doesn't announce the test ahead of time. It simply observes your character. And you've been observed. Every moment you chose prayer over panic. Every time you chose stillness over reaction. Every tear you refused to let turn into bitterness. It was all recorded. And now, heaven says, the scales are tipping. The judgment that felt delayed is now being released. But not against you, for you. His war wasn't about what you lost. It was about what you were about to carry. The spiritual conflict was never a sign of defeat. It was always a sign of destiny. The warfare increased because your mantle increased. Your name was being called in heavenly places before it ever echoed in earthly ones. So do not curse the conflict. Do not despise the trial. For the throne room has spoken, and its verdict is clear. You are watched, not abandoned. Refined, not forgotten. Your suffering has a purpose. Your pain had a name. And now, the positioning is complete. Type I am being positioned in the comments if you feel this word. Lesson code 4444 is now moving through your life. Within 72 hours, the heavens will begin to rearrange what earth tried to delay. There is a sound building in the spirit realm. It is not loud to the natural ear, but in the courts of heaven, it is thunder. A verdict hath been issued. The decree hath been written. The scroll has been rolled out, and the seal has been broken. The motion has already begun. And now the voice of the Spirit declares, watch closely. Within 72 hours, you will begin to see the manifestation of what was decided long before your awareness caught up. You are in the overlap of heaven's movement and earth's reaction. It is in this space, this thin, trembling veil, that the final assignment of Archangel Michael begins to accelerate. What has been hidden will begin to surface. What has been denied access to your life will attempt one final entry. But it will fail, not because of your defense, but because of heaven's restriction. There is a movement happening behind the veil, one that will cause tremors in your environment. You may feel the weight of tension increase. You may notice emotions rising, people changing, conversations shifting. Pay attention. The pressure you feel is not a warning of defeat, but a signal of breakthrough. The enemy always throws his final strike when he knows his territory is being repossessed, and his time is almost up. There will be an attempt. Yes, hear this clearly. There will be an attempt to reclaim ground that God has already declared off limits. Someone may try to reach out again. An old alliance may seek revival. A door you thought was closed may swing open, not for blessing, but for distraction. Do not engage. Do not respond. Do not be seduced by what once comforted you but was never called for your destiny. Michael's sword is not just drawn. It is now executing orders of exposure and removal. This isn't just a shift. It is a purge. Truth will rise to the surface like oil, and lies will sink under the weight of their own schemes. The Holy Spirit is bringing divine reversal to plots that were planned in darkness. And the proof of this movement will come in unexpected ways. The next few days are not just ordinary days. They are prophetic windows. Conversations will turn. Hidden motives will reveal themselves. A person who was once seen as stable may suddenly break alignment. Do not be alarmed. This is heaven's way of cleaning your path. God is removing every obstacle before you even take the next step. The Spirit says, remain silent while heaven speaks for you. Yes, silence is your weapon now. Do not argue. Do not explain. Do not defend your name. Archangel Michael's assignment includes handling what your words cannot fix. If you stay quiet, heaven will be loud. If you stay still, divine justice will be swift. Pressure will rise before the release comes. You may feel it emotionally. You may feel it in relationships. You may feel it even in your physical body. This is because the spiritual and natural are colliding. What heaven decrees must find room on earth. And that process always causes friction before fulfillment. Pay close attention in this window. There will be signs, clear, specific, supernatural signs, and they will appear in threes. Watch for repetition. Watch for patterns. Watch for divine interruption. This is the Lord confirming that the timeline has been activated and the spiritual shift is underway. Michael's assignment is not simply to defend, it is to deliver. And what is being delivered to you in this hour is not just freedom from an old cycle, but access to a new dimension. Let the pressure come. Let the truth emerge. Let the shift unfold. You are not losing control. You are watching heaven take it back. Type "I will not engage. Heaven is fighting for me" in the comments if this word confirms your season. Blessing code 3030 is now hovering over your atmosphere. Heaven fights loudest when you are silent. Now that the divine movement has begun, you must understand your role within it. You are not called to interfere. You are called to trust. The greatest warfare you will ever engage in is the battle to remain still when your flesh wants to react. But hear the Spirit of the Lord clearly. This is not your battle to fight. This is your battle to surrender. Heaven is asking for your stillness, not your strategy. Your obedience, not your opinion. You may want to confront. You may want to explain. You may want to respond to the chaos that is rising around you. But do not get pulled into unnecessary conversations. Do not chase clarity from people who were never meant to understand your calling. Do not trade your peace for closure. What God is removing doesn't need to be reasoned with. It just needs to be released. Be still. Be silent. Be secure. Because what the enemy cannot steal, you will try to distract. And distraction is deadly when your destiny is in motion. You must learn the rhythm of divine protection. It does not always feel like comfort. Sometimes it feels like confusion. Sometimes it feels like isolation. But what you call loneliness, heaven calls shielding. God has placed a covering over your life that is impenetrable, if you stay under it. The protective strategy in this hour is withdrawal with wisdom. Pull back from emotional entanglements. Guard your time. Guard your energy. Guard your reactions. This is a sacred moment, and sacred moments require sacred boundaries. The louder the world gets, the quieter you must become. Because it is in silence that divine instructions are whispered. You will begin to hear God in ways you never have before. It won't always come in thunder or revelation. Sometimes it will come in subtle confirmations. A sentence from someone who doesn't know your situation. A verse that appears 3 times in one day. A dream that repeats. A closed door that suddenly makes sense. Do not ignore the gentle guidance. Do not brush off the small signs. Heaven is speaking through symbols now, because your spirit is finally ready to listen. The angels assigned to your path are active. Archangel Michael is not simply protecting you from external threats. He is guarding your inner stability. The enemy will not win by attacking your surroundings if he can't access your mind. That is why the battle has shifted inward. That's why the warfare has felt more emotional than visible. But you are covered. Your mind is sealed. Your peace is protected. If you stay quiet enough to hear when God says move, and when He says wait. Affirm this daily. Speak it aloud even when your emotions fight it. Heaven defends what it ordains. This is not the season to run ahead. This is the season to wait until the Spirit says go. Do not try to open what God has shut. Do not try to explain what God is exposing. Do not try to heal what God is removing. Your silence will speak louder than anything you could say. Your stillness will cause more warfare in the enemy's camp than your loudest prayer. Sleep in peace. You are not unguarded. You are not uncovered. The atmosphere around you is being heavily watched. The path before you is being cleared in places you haven't even walked yet. And the storm you've sensed is not sent to destroy you. It's sent to protect you from what's behind you trying to follow. This is divine strategy. This is protective alignment. This is the hour where heaven fights loudest when you choose to be still. Type I choose stillness and trust in the comments if this speaks to your season. Blessing code 888 is covering your rest tonight. You are no longer the wounded one. You are the weapon. You are no longer standing in the ruins. You are standing in the realization. This isn't the same version of you that first walked into the storm. Something has changed. Something has shifted. The fire that came to consume you ended up forging you. And now, heaven is announcing not just your survival, but your emergence. The version of you that cried out in weakness has evolved. The one who begged for answers now hears with clarity. The one who felt overlooked is now standing under divine spotlight. What was meant to break you has only awakened what was hidden inside you all along. Rulership, resilience, and revelation. You were never just being tested, you were being trained. The pain didn't just happen to you. It happened for you. You didn't just walk through the valley, you learned how to command in the dark. You didn't just cry, you warred. You didn't just wait, you were refined. And now heaven calls you not a victim of circumstance, but a vessel of authority. You no longer pray like someone searching for rescue. You pray like someone aware of their rank in the Spirit. You speak like one who knows their words carry weight. You move like one who understands they are marked, mantled, and mobilized. This is not arrogance. This is not ambition. This is holy confidence, birthed in the crushing and baptized in the silence. Heaven now calls you by a new name, rebuilt, redeemed, ready. Every false label is being stripped. Every lingering voice that tried to define you by your past is being silenced. You are not who you were in your lowest moment. You are who you became in the furnace. The ashes falling off, the wings are rising, and the enemy that once terrified you now recognizes your presence. Darkness no longer intimidates you, because it now understands that you carry light. Not borrowed light, not inherited light, but forged light, the kind that can only come through fire. You are not walking into this next season with theory. You are walking in with testimony. You've lived through what many didn't survive. You've kept your faith when others cursed the sky. You've remained when others ran. And heaven has taken note. Michael's assignment has shifted. He is not only guarding you, he is marching with you now. No longer just protecting your past, but now advancing your future. You are walking out of the wilderness, not wounded, but weaponized. You are stepping forward, not asking why me, but declaring it was always me. You are no longer afraid of who leaves. You are no longer paralyzed by what shifts, because now you realize that when heaven starts moving, no one can stop what's been prophesied over your life. You are the fulfillment of someone else's prayer. You are the answer to a battle that started before you were born. Rise. You've been cleared. You've been strengthened. You've been spiritually certified by endurance. The wilderness didn't strip you. It revealed you. And now, you walk not in survival mode, but in supernatural power. You don't just carry anointing. You are the evidence of it. Walk boldly. Speak with fire. Stand with authority. Heaven is behind you, and the kingdom of darkness trembles before you. The final assignment has already been set in motion, and you are no longer preparing for war. You are the weapon formed in it. Type "I am rebuilt" and ready in the comments if this is your word. Blessing code 999 has been activated over your feet and future. You were not being punished. You were being prepared for promotion. Now the veil lifts and the reason begins to surface. The weight, the warfare, the weariness. It wasn't just life happening to you. It was heaven working through you. The pressure that surrounded you was never random. The tears you wept were never wasted. The spiritual turbulence, the sudden losses, the unexplainable heaviness. It was all part of something sacred, a divine promotion hidden in the disguise of battle. The Spirit of the Lord speaks clearly now. I had to prove your stability before I could release your next dimension. The shaking didn't mean you were out of alignment. It meant heaven was proving your foundation. When elevation is near, the testing intensifies. Not to destroy, but to determine. God had to determine what you could carry. Not for his knowledge, but for your readiness. And now, the test is passing. The fire is finishing. The shift is here. Archangel Michael's assignment wasn't simply to fight on your behalf. His presence was confirmation that your name was written in the divine register of purpose. You weren't overlooked. You were sealed. Marked. Hidden. Until the appointed hour. And now, that hour has come. Everything you endured carried purpose in its pain. Every moment you felt Christ was actually cultivation. Every closed door was a divine redirection. What felt like loss was a spiritual trade-off, heaven removing the counterfeit so it could install the original. You didn't lose anything that was truly yours. You lost what was blocking your breakthrough. And now, the soil has been cleared for divine roots to take hold. The battles that seemed personal were actually prophetic setups. You didn't just survive opposition. You were being documented by heaven for how you handled it. The Spirit says, I've watched your reactions in secret places. I've seen your restraint. I've seen your repentance. I've seen your surrender. And now the seal is being broken. The scroll is being read. The angelic host is shifting formation, not around your pain, but around your promotion. This next phase will feel different, not because life has become easier, but because your spirit hath been enlarged. You are no longer reacting from insecurity. You are responding from identity. Your purpose had been unlocked, not by applause, but by pressure. The platform you are about to stand on is built with bricks made of brokenness, faith, and obedience. Your silence was a sermon. Your endurance was a decree. And now heaven is echoing your name in places you have not even walked yet. The atmosphere is being prepared for your arrival. And when you step into what's next, you will realize it was never delayed. It was developed. Do not fear the exposure. It will not hurt you. It will free you. Do not fear the shift. It will not ruin you. It will reveal you. This is not the end of your story. It is the release of your real assignment. Your calling is no longer incubating. It is being commissioned. What was hidden is about to be highlighted. What was quiet is about to speak loudly through your life. You are walking into spiritual authority, not because of what you said, but because of what you survived. And Michael has finished his proving. Now begins your public confirmation. Type "I am walking into my promotion" in the comments if this word is for you. Blessing code 1212 has been loosed over your calling. If this word has revealed your season and confirmed your breakthrough, then I invite you to respond not just with praise, but with partnership. When you sow into this ministry, you're not giving to a channel, you're giving into divine disruption. You're helping carry prophetic truth to those who are still in their battle, still in their waiting room, still praying for clarity. Heaven has called this platform to speak directly into destinies, and every seed given becomes a trumpet blast into someone else's darkness. Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That's not just a verse, that's your heart about to overflow. Become a vessel of support through super thanks, membership, or PayPal using the link in the description. Don't just hear the word, be part of the wave that sends it forth. Sow into the move of God. Let your giving activate another destiny. This is the hour where obedience becomes your warfare. There is a moment in every divine story where heaven stops waiting and starts watching. That moment is now. The scroll hath been unsealed. The angel has been dispatched. The assignment is no longer in preparation. It is in motion. And now, heaven is waiting on you. This is not the time to pause in fear. This is the time to step in faith. The delays are over. The hesitations have expired. Every excuse, every doubt, every not yet hath been burned up in the fire of this final assignment. You are no longer waiting on another confirmation. You are the confirmation. You heard enough. You've seen enough. You've wept enough. Now you must move. Heaven is issuing a call, not just to believe, but to begin. Speak your alignment aloud. I agree with divine motion, because your agreement is the ignition of your assignment. Until now, you were being prepared, but now you must participate. Destiny is not an idea. Destiny is not a prophecy you admire. Destiny is a door that requires your hand on the handle and your feet to walk through. If you delay now, you delay others. If you hold back those you were called to carry. You are not just chosen for yourself. You are chosen for the deliverance of others. There are lives connected to your yes. There are breakthroughs waiting on your obedience. There are chains that will break when you begin to move in purpose. This is not poetic. This is prophetic responsibility. You are the Moses for someone's Egypt. You are the David standing before someone else's Goliath. You are the Esther that will turn the tide of a generation. But you cannot carry that mantle in passivity. You must engage. You must activate. You must decide that waiting is no longer holy when heaven has already moved. Begin to build what you delayed. Begin to write what you shelved. Begin to speak what you silenced. Begin to plan what you thought was too big. Because what you considered too much was actually just right for God-sized destiny. The lie that you're not ready has been broken. The lie that it's too late has been silenced. Heaven doesn't operate on your timeline. It operates on your obedience. Stop mourning the doors that closed. They weren't closed to hurt you. They were closed to protect you. The rejection you faced wasn't God's anger. It was God's intervention. He saw what you didn't. He heard what you couldn't. And he shut the door that would have sabotaged your assignment. Now is the moment where obedience becomes your warfare. Not noise. Not striving. Not trying to explain yourself. Obedience. Quiet. Bold. Radical. Immediate. When you move with heaven, you walk under divine backing. When you step into alignment, you unlock acceleration. Declare daily, I am in motion with heaven. Let it be your battle cry. Let it silence your fear. Let it become the rhythm of your steps. You no longer need to fight the same old battles. You no longer need to explain what's already and divinely endorsed. This season doesn't require your defense. It requires your decision. God is not asking for perfection. He's asking for movement, not grand performance. Just a simple, surrendered yes. The kind of yes that shakes the ground. The kind of yes that makes demons back up. The kind of yes that heaven records and the earth responds to. That yes is what Michael has been guarding. That yes is what now opens the gates to your next move. Zeb. Act. Speak. Build. Write. Oh. Destiny is not waiting any longer. It is here. Type I am moving in alignment in the comments if your spirit is ready. Blessing code 5555 is now triggering divine acceleration over your hands. While you slept, heaven moved. There are moments in your life where nothing seems to change outwardly, yet everything is shifting inwardly. This is one of those moments. In the stillness of your nights, while your body rested and your mind tried to make sense of what you were feeling, heaven was moving. Without loud announcements. Without visible proof. Without explanation. There was an exchange taking place in the unseen, and your spirit felt it before your mind understood it. This is what most people miss. When heaven decides to act, it doesn't always ask for your permission, but it does wait for your alignment. And now that you've said yes, now that you've released the weight, now that your hands are open and your voice is surrendered, the transaction has begun. The divine economy has engaged. Michael's final assignment involves retrieval. Not just protection. Not just warfare. But restoration. Divine retrieval of what was unjustly taken. What was wrongly delayed. What was stolen in the middle of your spiritual infancy. Before you knew how to fight. Before you knew how to discern. Before you understood the power of your identity. You may have thought it was good for good. The relationship that fractured you. The opportunity that slipped through your fingers. The season that seemed stolen by sabotage. But God never signed off on your loss. He simply waited until the timing was righteous for its return. And now, the scales are balanced. A moment has matured. And what was stolen is being reclaimed. There is a holy negotiation happening over your life, not with men, but in the courts of the Almighty. Angels are presenting the evidence of your intercession. They are placing your prayers before the Judge of heaven. They are reminding heaven of the covenant. And in return, the Lord is releasing compensation. But hear this: what is returning to you will not look like what left. It will come back better, upgraded, purified, multiplied. Every tear that you cried was a petition in the Spirit. Every moment you bit your tongue and chose silence over retaliation was a recorded statement. Every time you worshiped through disappointment, you were submitting evidence into a courtroom you could not see. And now, the records have been reviewed, and the exchange has been authorized. This is why your spirit felt uneasy. This is why sleep was disturbed, and why your dreams carried unusual weight. You weren't just tired. You were receiving the weight of glory. The heaviness wasn't demonic, it was divine. Because when heaven starts releasing what's been stored up, your entire being feels the weight of fulfillment coming near. You don't need to beg for it. You don't need to perform for it. This isn't about striving. This is about spiritual inheritance. You are receiving what is legally yours in the Spirit. Because you endured. Because you held your peace. Because you did abort the process. Because you didn't curse the silence. Because you didn't forsake the fire. And now the exchange is happening, in silence, in shadows, in spiritual corridors. Your sorrow is being traded for peace. Your delay is being traded for acceleration. Your emptiness is being traded for overflow. Not just emotionally, not just mentally, but spiritually, relationally, financially, even physically. The shift is full spectrum. Nothing will be left untouched. You are now walking in the evidence of a trade you didn't even know was happening. The invisible realm has ruled in your favor. The scroll has been signed. The angels are in motion. The return is being delivered. Your only job now is to receive, without guilt, without apology, without resistance. This is not reward for performance. This is justice from heaven's throne. Type "I receive the divine exchange" in the comments if this resonates. Blessing code 7117 is now securing your recompense. The verdict has been rendered. Justice is in motion. Heaven does not forget. It may wait. It may allow time to pass. It may even allow the appearance of injustice to linger for a moment. But it never forgets. And now, the silence of God has given way to the sentence of heaven. The case has been reviewed. The verdict has been rendered. And justice is no longer pending. It is in motion. This is not poetic language. This is a metaphor for relief. This is literal divine reversal. The very things the enemy orchestrated to destroy you, discredit you, delay you, are being boomeranged back into his camp with fire on their wings. The traps he laid for you, he will now fall into them himself. The lies that were spoken against you, heaven is now unraveling them in front of those who believed them. What was done to you in secret is being judged in the open courts of heaven. The Spirit of the Lord declares, what was meant for evil, I am returning tenfold, not in destruction, but in restoration and display. This is not petty revenge. This is holy vindication. Because heaven does not operate in the shadows. It operates in justice. It moves with weight. And when it moves on your behalf, everything changes, instantly and irreversibly. Favor is being routed. Yes, routed. There were things that belonged to you that were misassigned, blessings that were detoured, recognition that was delayed, authority that was buried under the noise of jealousy and sabotage. But a heaven has directed the record. Michael's final movement includes the return of eroded favor to your hands. Not just the things you prayed for, but the things you didn't even know were yours. Hidden blessings, bearing gifts, forgotten promises. They are being released back to your name. This is divine reversal, and it is personal. You're not just watching justice, you are walking in it. Those who mocked your process will now witness your promise. Those who misunderstood your silence will now observe your elevation. Those who tried to define your ending will now have no choice but to watch your beginning. The same mouths that gossiped will now be forced into silence. The same environments that resisted you will now recognize the oil on your life. There's a shift taking place in the courts of public perception, and you don't have to defend your name. Heaven already has. You don't have to chase explanation. The fruit on your life will speak louder than any rebuttal. You don't need to revisit the offense. You need to prepare for the overflow. This is not just recovery. This is reversal. What was stolen is being returned with interest. What was delayed is being accelerated with divine momentum. What was lost is being resurrected with new breath. The last season you endured, the hidden season, the misunderstood season, the rejected season, it now becomes the launchpad of visibility. The last shall now be first. And hear this clearly. This reversal is sealed, not with ink but with blood, not with intention but with execution. Michael stands at the edge of this assignment with his sword lowered, not in surrender, but in completion. The order has been fulfilled. The judgment hath been passed. And you, yes, you, have been found righteous. Your name has survived the fire. Your calling has endured the crushing. And now, your legacy will carry the echo of victory. You are not just coming out of a hard season. You are stepping into a divine recompense, full, final, and irreversible. Type "Justice is mine" in the comments if this word speaks to you. Blessing code 8181 is now enforcing your reversal. The final assignment is complete. Walk forward in fullness. You have crossed a spiritual threshold. What began in silence, in warfare, in uncertainty, has now concluded in clarity, in justice, in holy power. Heaven has spoken, and the word has not returned void. The assignment given to Archangel Michael concerning your life has not only been fulfilled, it has been sealed. You are no longer in the waiting room. You are standing inside the release. You have been watched. You have been weighed. You have been proven. And heaven now says, it is done. The chaos has lifted. The storm has served its purpose. What tried to bury you has become the soil that birthed you. The winds that once pushed against you have now shifted, and they are blowing behind you with divine force. This is your turning point, and nothing, not fear, not regret, not confusion, can delay what has already been divinely activated in your name. Take a deep breath. The war has shifted. You are not fighting to be seen anymore. You are walking in the assurance that you have been sent. You are no longer pleading for confirmation. You are living in it. Every attack that tried to take your peace has now made way for peace that surpasses all understanding. From this day forward, move differently. Pray from authority, not desperation. Speak from alignment, not anxiety. Expect the supernatural. Expect movement. Expect overflow. Because the seal has been broken, the scroll has been read, and heaven has marked you as ready. Your path is now guarded, not just by hope, but by angels on assignment. Your mind is now still, not from ignorance, but from certainty. Your future is no longer a mystery. It is a mandate. And so now, in the name of the Most High God, I declare this over you. You are sealed. You are seen. You are sent. The old has passed. The new is here. And nothing behind you has the power to rewrite what God has already decreed before you. Walk boldly. Love deeply. Serve faithfully. Speak truthfully. And rest in the knowledge that your name is known in heaven, and your obedience has shaken hell. This is your confirmation. The final assignment is complete. Heaven has moved, and your name was written in the motion. Type "I am sealed" and sent in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 2020 now surrounds your future. If this message marked your soul, don't just let it pass you by. Become a part of the mission to awaken and activate destinies around the world. Your giving is not to a platform. It is a divine seed into the lives of those still waiting for their word, their scroll, their moment. When you support this ministry, you are helping carry heaven's voice to those drowning in silence. Give, and it will be given unto you not just materially, but spiritually, emotionally, eternally. This is not charity. This is a covenant with heaven's movement. You can sow through Super Thanks, become a channel member, or use the PayPal link in the video description. However you give prophetically. Give with intention. Give into the move of God you just witnessed. Heaven is moving, and your seed makes you part of the assignment.